given the grand scheme, let's step back for a second. How surprised are you that the Ottawa Senators are in the Eastern Conference Final?
Stunned. Yeah. I'm stunned. And I know there are some people out there who say, oh, you know what, if you follow this team all season long and you know what they've been through and that jazz.
Horse poop.
It's kind of horse poop.
It is horse poop.
Because we respect the Sens and what they've done, and we respect the stories that have gone on with this team, obviously, a great deal. This has not been easy for anybody. But no one in their right mind saw Final Four. They scraped in the playoffs, for God's sakes. They just got in, which, by the way, is another reason why the regular season is a complete waste of time, and we should have no merit into it whatsoever, and there's no weight.
Well, getting in
is
important.
Getting in, but once you're there, yeah. The Preds are in the Western Final.
I'll give you the seedings are not important.
And number 8 team in the West is in the Final Four. The Sens are in the Final Four. It's just one shock after another. It's like, wait, and if the Caps go tonight, anyway, I'm stunned by this. Guy Boucher.
Yes.
Can we talk about Guy Boucher for a second?
Sure.
Guy Boucher last night completed his 5th best-of-7 playoff series at this level.
As a head coach.
As a head coach in the National Hockey League.
Okay.
Guy Boucher has done this 5 times. He's won 4 of them. And the 5th time, the one that didn't go his way, won a 7th game against the Rangers in an Eastern Conference Final. Guy Boucher is one of the best coaches in the game of hockey. Now, there's a shelf life on your Guy Bouchers. We've seen this in numerous spots in North America and abroad. He is strict. He has a style. Sometimes that wears on guys. And that day will come with the Ottawa Senators. Make no mistake. Don't let the love-in fool you. This is going to end one day. But when it's working, it is clicking, and he's cooking with gas. And Guy Boucher, 2 straight days with that.
2 straight days.
I need a new thing.
It's true.
Sorry, Dwayne Casey.
You saw my eye, right?
I keep ripping off your stuff, Dwayne Casey. He is one of the best coaches in hockey, and that to me needs to be acknowledged. And is one of the most surprising things, because I didn't buy the Guy Boucher thing when they brought him in. I just remembered Tampa. I just saw a bunch of memes on the internet of him going nuts.
Right.
And you have this premise of Guy Boucher, both of him as a coach, his temperament, and how his teams play. And I'm stunned. I'm stunned this group got there, but we need to acknowledge the job that Mr. Boucher has done behind the
And
bench.
in the acknowledgement of the love-in, and in the acknowledgement of the love-in with Erik Karlsson right now, is this the world just being exposed to Erik Karlsson on this type of level where you get to see him night in, night out because you're watching the playoffs, or has he stepped it up a notch? Because I think there might be a little bit of both going on.
But I think it's more of you see so much more of him. Now, there are guys who have followed the Sens regionally, and they've done 82 games, and this is old hat.
No,
They're
but
not
he's playing with fractures in his foot.
And could be other stuff, too, that now he's about, and he's not telling us, for all we know. I'm just saying.
What did you do with this?
Just the quiet.
Oh, okay.
The make of the quiet.
Okay.
One of the best players in the world.
It didn't look like that originally.
Oh, really? I should make it clear. Yeah. I'll be cooking with gas in a second.
Yep.
Erik Karlsson is taking it to a different level, but I think the more exposure we get towards him, I think that has something to do with this, honestly, to see what he's done. And not just normal exposure, like we're talking double overtimes. We're overtimes. Like every other game with this team, you see more and more and more of Karlsson, and he's not leaving the ice. And you ask yourself, how can he do this? I mean,
he's in that category of wonderful players who, once they get to the playoffs and play wonderfully, people are like, wow, this guy is amazing. He's a horse. And he's been a horse all along. And people jump on board because they're watching it all the time. And Ottawa fans are going, see, this is what we told you all along.
Now, part of this discussion, I'm glad you brought this up. To me, I'm a little bothered by the Conn Smythe discussion now. To me, that having the Conn Smythe discussion now is dumb.
I know it's dumb.
It is ridiculous.
But people are just trying to say who's been the best player in the playoffs so far. They might as well just say that.
Well, I don't know. Malkin leads everyone in points. Yeah. No one's talking about Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah.
It's Getzlaf, who's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's Karlsson, obviously, but like Malkin deserves something.
Whoa. You're leaving guys out. Ottawa Senators, story of the day. How could you not put Chris Neil in that conversation for the Conn Smythe Award? I mean, that right there was 1 minute, 49 seconds of wonderful hockey from Chris Neil, and the Senators are now undefeated with Chris Neil in the lineup.
Listen, 1:49, again, I do my best work in 1:49 seconds. I know what that's like.
But let me just say this before we were talking. Let's talk Henrik Lundqvist, because I don't know if you saw the video at the end of the game after Peugeot scores his 7th of the playoffs to ice it. Game's over. There's not much time left in the clock, and Lundqvist goes back to his net, and you see, okay, there's a stick. But the face of a competitor and a guy who wanted this game so bad, who wanted to see that playoff success, like just not heartbroken, like just crestfallen, like every possible adjective and or phrase to describe a guy in that spot, like I didn't even need to, because the pictures tell 1,000 words.
Yeah, and I mean, and we saw the emotions of Henrik Lundqvist a lot in this series, right?
Yeah.
Like Derek Stepan, who was awful, had to calm him down a little bit. Maybe somebody said you should have juiced up Derek Stepan a little bit. He was terrible in this series. You know, I'm all for a guy with that kind of passion. You got to channel it sometimes the right way, and I'm guilty of that too sometimes. We're all human, but I think at times that level of competitiveness, Timmy, I think it was a little counterproductive.
Can get in your way?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Listen, when's the last time you saw a hockey player get off his bench in the second round or later and tell one of his most important guys to shut up and bring it down a notch because everyone's lay off Brady Shea because we're all trying out here? Yeah. I haven't seen that before. I'll say that.
It's funny though, Lundqvist doesn't take the same sort of heat that we see for other guys that have not excelled in the. Like think of all the Sharks, the Ducks, even that have won a Stanley Cup championship, and of course Ovi. Yeah. But Henrik's in the same spot as I lost the cap to my water, but I need to drink because I'm not feeling a lot well.
Sometimes you drop the ball, sometimes you drop the bottle cap. And a lot of people say the Rangers dropped the bottle cap. And Alan Vigneault leaned on his vets way too much in this series.
Alan Vigneault's
Where was Grabner? Grabner looked like the fastest guy on the ice at times last night. Where's Grabner? Where's your Jimmy Vesey's? Play him more. Anyway, speaking of the Sens, going back to the Sens.
Where's your Jimmy Vesey?
Where's your Jimmy Vesey? Oh! Yeah. The Sens and Guy Boucher specifically, as you know, have been playing up their role as underdogs throughout the postseason, specifically the series. Last night after the game, Sportsnet.ca's Chris Johnston asked Boucher if that would continue in the Eastern Conference Final.
I'm gonna get the cap.
Do you expect to be an underdog against the Capitals or Penguins?
Well, I don't even think I need to answer that one. As long as we're dogs and we're fighting in the ring there, at least we're there. So
okay,
over or underdog, I think it's just, let's leave it at dogs. How's that?
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs
What the hell was that? That sounded like a dying raptor. What was that?
I just was kind
that was the most annoying sound in the world. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? That is.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Can we best of the week that sound on Friday?
No.
That is terrible.
I'm sure it's annoying the hell out of it.
A little bit better than nails down a chalkboard.
Is it a little bit better?
Yeah, it's not as bad. The worst. Am I the only one in this room? Look at this.
If you're the Sens, who do you want to face?
In the Eastern Final, obviously.
Yeah.
If I'm Sens fans, I want me a piece of Sid the Kid. I want Sidney Crosby in the building. I know Eugene Melnick.
I want the best player on planet Earth, with all due respect to Connor McDavid.
Well, last two games, he doesn't look like the best player on this planet Earth. I'll take Sidney Crosby. I'll take a little redemption tour. I'll do that.
I know there's a little bit of a rivalry, but I also think that the Caps right now and the way they're playing, if they get another win, you don't want that momentum train riding in.
No, and if the Caps
it'll be a good matchup tactically.
It'll be a good matchup. If the Caps come in feeling good, though, that scares me more. A Caps team that gets over that hump, although some people would still say there's more of a hump to go. If the Caps win that series,
no, but I think that would be a hump. A 3-1 deficit, that would be a hump.
They'll be feeling good.
That's getting over a hump right there.